Hello, it's Delia. Thanks for clicking on. So, when people start to do energy work or meditation, uh, and everybody and their brother these days talks about being present, and being present can be very challenging for a lot of reasons. We're not trained to do it. It's not valued as in the culture. Um, there's all those kind of mental things. And then there's the other part, which is coming into your body can feel icky. It can feel scary. It can feel horrible. Um, I know people who, at the beginning of their spiritual practice, would get sick, to like sick to the stomach, right? Other people get really woozy, and how your body reacts to you choosing to be in your body gives you information. So I started doing energy work, let's say 1980, because that's a long time ago. And when I first started doing anything like energy work, I had tried to do meditation, the kind where you just do a mantra, same word over and over, preferably a word not in English, or other forms of kind of like trying to not think. This was not going to happen for me, especially back then. Um, like a lot of people, I'd been trained to think my way through anything and think my way out of emotions. Um, at the time, I wasn't educated to the fact that I was clairsentient, which most of you probably are. You're the kind of people who can walk into a room and tell the emotional landscape of everybody in the room, whether you want to or not, like in 30 seconds or less. That's clairsentience, and it has to do with the second chakra. So, when you start to try to come into your own body, you're going to bump up against all of this energy that doesn't belong to you and all of the reasons why it made sense to not want to be in your body in the first place. Um, Spirit is a energy, it's a vibration. It's not about religion, it's about not being physical. Because the physical is corporeal cells, matter. And then spirit part is not hierarchical religion, but energetic, not physical. And the energy part of you, the infinite part of you, the bright spark spirit part, um, doesn't really grok sensations and emotions. It's not that part of you, that's just not part of what you do. It's just not part of the makeup of being an energetic being. It's the providence of body. And your body suit, body personality, um, has many capacities that you as spirit don't have. And bodies have capacities like sensations. We have like 92 senses. There's the the classic five, but science has listed out a whole bunch of more. Things like sense of direction, that's a sense of balance. There's just a lot of different senses that a body has. I like to think of it as a tricorder because when I first saw the original Star Trek, it was the most mind-blowing idea ever that there was a way to perceive everything around you on all these different levels and um, take readings. So that's my body's favorite version of what a body part of what a body is and does is it senses energies. That's its job. Um, and I think of body as the way to locate yourself, right? When you start to bring all of you, the parts of you that you know about, as well as the parts of you that you don't know about, into your body, into the vicinity of your body. It's starting to kind of plug in a way. But all the pain, emotional, psychological, physical, make being in the body not comfortable for energetics, your energetic self. And so one of the things that people normally experience as they start to breathe and they start to close their eyes and come into themselves, and it's hard. It's like, I don't want to be here. I want to jump up and down. Um, the knee starts to go, jiggling your knees. Um, there can be a variety of responses that the body has. Maybe not the first time, but sometime in the beginning, usually there's some kind of a, hey, wait, what's going on here? This is weird, right? And the system, meaning energetic you and biological you, um, energy, starts to react like, wait a minute, this is different. And that's body doing its job as well. It's asking, are we okay? And usually what happens when body is asking, are we okay? We misinterpret that as telling us we're not okay, when really it's asking us, are we okay? So there's a very simple way to respond to that, which is to pat the body. I'm doing it on my arm so you can see. And it's just like being a presence with yourself. Like when you put your hand on the friend on the arm of your friend, right? And it sounds better than rub your legs, which is usually the more closer to the vicinity of where our hands are. And just kind of being in physical contact of touch is one of body's first vocabularies. And breathing and patting the body, that rubbing your legs business, and breathing and rocking, just whatever your body needs to kind of experience this new way of being. Because as you're coming into your body, what's happening is you're pulling off the band-aids of, I don't want to be aware of that, right? Which is kind of how our culture is designed. Oh, I don't want to think about that. Oh, all these blinders, right? And so when you're practicing coming into your body, if there's any discomfort, it's fine. It's just fine. You can still choose to learn how to be in your body. And like any learning process, the more you practice it, the more you do it, not forcing yourself, but wanting to discover what happens when you're really you and when you're on your side. And a big part of being on your side is being willing to come in to your body. So anybody that has trauma in it, and it could be a wide range. There's things that happen to us that are considered normal schoolyard things that can feel like trauma, and we can respond by kind of freezing, right? So then there's this 6-year-old self that went on the playground and got ridiculed and just kind of froze there. Like, I don't know what to do with these people. I'm just going to stand here and try and hide. And then you grow on in your life, and here you are, 40 years old, discovering there's this frozen 6-year-old who's made just an incredible number of very intense conclusions about self, about others, about life, about what to do, what not to do, how to be, how not to be. Just thousands of conclusions based on the emotional intensity of this event at 6. And those conclusions and the projections onto others and projections onto that 6-year-old are now in the program and still operating. So when you're starting to come into your body, you'll become aware of that. It registers that kind of intensity cuts off. It's cut off, so there's no flow. And so it's gonna show up as an intensity. And a lot of times intensity is misidentified and mischaracterized as pain. And so coming into your body will reveal to you the 6-year-old that desperately wants to not be stuck, hanging out there to dry, frozen in all kinds of shame and bewilderment. And you can actually be kind to that 6-year-old. You can ask that 6-year-old to say what they could never say before. You can hug the 6-year-old. You can be your current age and be kind to the 6-year-old self and melt all kinds of misinformation. Turns out you don't have to challenge misinformation, you can actually melt it. Just like you can melt the frozenness. So there are practices that um, help you with this. This is part of what I teach in the core training. And whether you whether you take the core training or not, as you're on your path to show up for you and to be on your side, when you're coming in, your eyes are closed and you're taking your nice deep breaths, I recommend that you pat the body's first vocabulary, and have the intention of being kind and cherishing you instead of judging you, and being open to discovering what wants to be healed and transformed so that you can be more comfortable and at ease with being you. Because you are an amazing being. And whatever stories that you have about your failure or your shortcomings or how you've been wronged or how you've done wrong, whatever your stories are, if they're bleeding you, there is something asking to be re-identified, reapplied, rediscovered. Because whatever is true for you is nourishing for you. And even if it's a hard truth, it's going to be nourishing for you. It's not going to bleed you. It's not going to feel icky. So be kind to yourself if you're having trouble learning how to come into your body. Recognize that that's just the water that everybody swims in, and that there are ways that you can come in and really be on your side. All right, till next time. Practice being on your side. It's a choice.